I'm Sharon Hamilton, New York Times and USA Today bestselling author. I'm going to be reading from Seal's Promise. Chapter 1. T.J. Talbot liked weddings because he could always enjoy generous helpings of two of his favorite things, alcohol and young lovelies. Whenever a buddy got sweet on a girl and was contemplating walking the plank, as he liked to call it, T.J. was only too happy to help him celebrate. He never minded the cost of the tux rental, the dinners, and bachelor parties he had to spring for. It was all means to an end. His end was usually hooking up with someone and getting it on. That's why he always went to Wedding Stag. He always promised to meet this or that lovely there and then play the field. Playing the field was much better for everyone involved. He didn't think of himself as a one-woman guy. He doubted anyone would be able to satisfy his appetites, especially his appetites in the bedroom. Experimentation was the norm for him. He didn't want anyone crying to him after the fact, so he was careful. And yes, that did occasionally mean he went home alone. Far better to do that than to go home with a woman you had to console or peel off your skin the next day. Tonight he had his eye on one of the bride's best friends, Cindy. She had a funny little laugh, and he liked the way her tits jiggled whenever she did it. Her big blue eyes struck him right away as being interested in whatever he could dish out. He always liked it when he could surprise a girl, help her learn a few things about her sexual nature, and Cindy seemed like the perfect type. He was going to pace himself, make sure he stayed in her line of sight a lot, and hope that she got aggressive with him. He didn't like it that way unless he orchestrated it. Hell, he'd almost forgotten to line up with the other groomsmen. He was thinking so hard about where he could take her for a bit of minor relief until he could have an all-nighter with her. 4 other Seals were in the wedding party, and he had to admit they'd make a wedding portrait that would look good on the cover of any bridal magazine, except for their dark glasses. Only Frankie, the groom, posed without shades. Shannon had wanted them all without the shades, but TJ smiled at her and just put his on in open defiance, and the others followed his lead. She'd flounced off in a huff, a flurry of white organza and chiffon, and her perfume that made him sneeze. He'd watched that hellcat streak she had, angled his head to the side, and watched her march off to some mythical place brides hide when they go crazy. Lovely, though. Even he had to admit that. Frankie was white as a sheet as they gathered. "I want to pray first," he said to his best buddies. Tyler was there, of course, and Kyle, Ollie, and Rory were as well. But TJ was Frankie's best friend, and that meant he had to be the best man. Fucking going to need a lot more than fucking praying. Going to need a miracle, Frankie. Shannon's had the evil eye on me all morning, yesterday too, and that means I don't think you're getting any tonight. Not that you haven't. Fuck's sake, TJ, it's my fucking wedding and has nothing to do with how my bride looks at you. Get that fucking thought out of your head. I was just saying, not what you're saying I have a problem with. It's what you're thinking. Frankie was so nervous. He was seeing conspiracies behind every plant, guest, and bouquet. "Just be glad we didn't send you to Alaska," Tyler said, making it worse. Last year, one of the young recruits had gotten time off from Bud's to get married, a request which was almost never granted, and then the boys thought it necessary to save him from that quickie wedding in Las Vegas, and so got him stinking drunk and put him on a plane to Alaska, so he missed his own wedding. They incurred extra wet and sandy for that one, and had the toilets cleaned so many times you could eat out of them.